Alrighty, hey guys, Alex Late from Tried and True Mortgages. Just with another Tried and True Academy video. We are actually going to be talking to Aaron Porcaro. He is our team lead on Tried and True Mortgages, and he has an upcoming flip project. So we're going to be asking Aaron some questions and dive a little bit deeper into this flip. If you don't know who I am Alex Late. I work with Tried and True Mortgages. We help Canadians with home purchase financing, refinancing, equity takeouts, and debt consolidation. So Aaron, thank you very much for coming on the episode. If you could just jump in, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, and in real estate, and how you got into flipping homes.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm a managing partner of Tried and True Mortgages. So do the financing, but I also have Paling Developments as well. I'm a co-owner with a good friend of mine, Tyler Noble, who I've known forever. Mm-hmm. We started the company a few years ago, and we've just been flipping homes in the Hamilton area ever since.
Awesome, very cool. So in terms of flip projects, what's your preferred type of flip project that you like to do?
Yeah, so the east end of Hamilton, I love. That's like home to me. That's where I grew up. So that's always going to be, my bread and butter. Yep. We've been all over Hamilton though. So the mountain, we've done flips, even in St. Catharines as well. Yep. The bread and butter for us is more the starter home, trying to fix up a home for a first-time investor, or that first-time home buyer. So right now, we have the flip that's coming up is going to be a 2-bed, 1-bath. Right, it's in a little bit rough shape, but what we're going to do is fix it up, get it all renovated, and get somebody in there in the starter home budget. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So you say that with Paling Developments, you work with them. It's like a joint ventureship. How does that work?
Yeah. So exactly. So it's a joint venture. Basically, what we do is we just basically acquire the property, we renovate it, and then we sell. Once we sell the property, then we just split the earnings and
This upcoming project, where is it located? What's your outlook on the property, and like what major areas of the home are you looking to renovate or change up?
So kitchen's always key. That's number one. So that's one of the main things. What drew us to this house is it's just the perfect starter home and the perfect timing to acquire. It's a great time to buy. I know every person in the industry says it's always a great time to buy, but truthfully, the last 6 months or so, it wasn't. It was still on the decline, and now we feel like it's that sweet spot to start, looking into to acquiring a property at a good price. We ended up getting this one at a fantastic price, and just have the ability to kind of fix it up, get in there. It's not a huge renovation budget just because it is a 2-bed, 1-bath, but what we want to do with it is essentially just update the kitchen, the flooring, painting, and then do some exterior work just to get it turnkey for the next person. Cool.
So when you were purchasing, were you able to negotiate on the price a little bit because of the market type of thing?
We did, yes. Yeah, so actually it was listed. So we ended up getting it for 25% less than what it was listed for.
Wow.
So that right there, there's a lot of, it's a good time to negotiate price. It wasn't a year ago at this time. It was actually just a complete, it was a seller's ball game, whatever, you threw a number out there and hope for the best. Now you're seeing sellers go back to the table and say, hey, you know what? They want to work with you a little bit more. There's a little bit of wiggle room on price. So the price you see is not necessarily the price you're going to pay.
Yep.
So again, that's exactly why it's a great time to buy.
Very cool. Very cool. So in terms of timeline, what are you guys looking at? Is this a 3-month project, 6-month project, etc.?
Yeah, so this one in particular is going to be a little bit tighter of a timeline. And especially just given what we're also doing is private financing the project as well. And interest rates aren't cheap, as we know. Obviously, in the last year, they've increased quite a bit, which puts a bigger emphasis on timeline. So you have to be really quicker on that timeline. We're looking at about 4 to 6 weeks. That's kind of the sweet spot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You never fully know with these projects. To tell you the truth, you open up a wall, you see something. Everybody's seen the HGTV show where it cuts the commercial. It does happen, but it doesn't happen every time. Not like TV shows, but it's not every time. But it does certainly happen. So the goal is 4 to 6 weeks based on what we know. So kind of get in, get out, get a turnkey for the next buyer.
Okay, cool. So we will be doing the walkthrough on Saturday, March 11th. what is, what can people look for through the ones who have already registered to come in and walk through the property.
Yeah, so what you can look forward to is just kind of, getting the inside scoop on how it's done. I mean, everyone, you have people that you follow, and a lot of people make it look easy, and truthfully, you're going to see the actual process for what it is, and then you can determine if it's for you. So, it's not easy, but I don't think it's as hard as people make it out to be as well. So what you can get is just, the inside numbers on what everything looks like, even just, trying to get some sort of feel whether it's for you. And then just, truthfully, not being afraid of just kind of, as long as you're doing the math and the numbers make sense, things like private financing, a project that takes a little bit more of a renovation budget. These things aren't as scary as, people make them out to be. And so, sure. And again, it might not be for you, but it's something that you should be able to, by the end of going through it, know that if it's, this is for me, or, it's just not for me. So.
That's right. Yeah. It's sort of one of those things where it's what you don't know what you don't know. So if you think it's the most difficult thing in the world, then you probably are going to be scared to even start the project. It'd be the same thing with me and a mechanic. I don't know how to fix cars, and I might think it's the hardest thing in the world, but then it could be a quick fix, right? But with this, it's, if you have those contacts, if you have those ideas, if you've done the numbers, then a lot of times it just makes sense, and it's a good idea to do it. So
numbers don't lie.
That's exactly it.
With flips, they don't lie. So if your numbers are, reasonable, you have to keep them reasonable. You have to leave a little bit for contingency in case, you open that wall and you see something you don't like. But as long as you leave those little, you budget for those things, then ultimately you'll be fine.
Okay, cool. So a lot of people, with the market recently changing, and especially in Canada, interest rate increases have really had a significant impact on the market. What sort of happens if the market takes a downturn when you guys are looking to sell? Do you guys have a contingency plan? How do you go about that?
Yeah, no, so I'm glad you asked that as well, because we always have a plan B as well. What we look to do is make sure that the property, before we acquire it, what is that plan B? If we, can't sell it for what we want to, based on our timeline, or you might be in a spot where, you might just break even, you did all that work for nothing. With real estate, it tends to appreciate over time, which, like we all know. So I always look to see, will the property rent out, and to at least cover the expenses, even if there's a small shortfall that you can, stomach for the next 6 to 12 months. That's not the end of the world. Just wait till the market heats up again, because we do know real estate always tends to bounce around and come back. So there'll be a better time to sell, even though, because a lot of people fell into that problem. If you purchased last March or last February, we know the market dropped. You want to be able to hold the property, rent it out, get enough rent that it justifies everything, all the expenses that come with that property, and then just basically wait for a better time in the market. Okay,
yeah, that's definitely, it's a good sort of safety net to cover you. It's not like, even if you're negative, $50, $100, it's a lot more significant if you're negative 2,000, 3,000 per month, right? So if you can do that, and then wait it out another 6 to 12 months, because over time, we have seen in Canada at least, real estate just continues to appreciate. Maybe it won't appreciate like it did in, from 2015 to 2022, but more likely we'll see a more average appreciation, but nonetheless still appreciating. So
we know the market from a sales perspective isn't always hot. We certainly know that now. But the rental market has not slowed. We've seen the rental market hotter than ever. It's even through this downturn, the rental market has continued to skyrocket in terms of what you can get for monthly rent. And it just comes down to a shortage of affordable housing that's out there. So there's always that plan B in place, and that's something that we make sure that we can do prior to acquiring the property.
Sure. I guess sort of just another question here. In terms of buying and selling the property, you guys sort of lean on a realtor's advice and for those rental estimates and comparisons to get an idea of the price figure?
Yep, absolutely. So as soon as we go through the property, we like the property. Let's make an offer. I'm looking at 2 sets of comparables. One, the acquisition comparable. So we know roughly what the same whether it's the same comparable for that home, what it's going for today, and then what the fully done up comparable is going for just in today's market. And then we can kind of forecast, based on my projections, where the market is heading. Hopefully in 4 to 6 weeks it's hotter, of course. That's what we're rooting on, but obviously that's well beyond my control. So I don't have control of that. But that it goes back to that, why having that plan B in place is so important.
Right on. Okay, very cool. For those of you guys listening, we will also be providing a breakdown of the financing costs, renovation costs, sort of the timeline of the flip project, and that'll all be available when you guys show up on Saturday. If you have any questions, definitely you can email us or contact us on our website, triedandtruemortgages.ca. Aaron, thanks so much for coming on. Anything last things you want to add?
No, just excited to see everyone come out.
Right on. Awesome. Thanks so much. And we will talk to you guys or see you guys on Saturday. Cheers.